Welcome back to a brand new season of the European Rally Championship. After the long winter break, we are back in 2019 for another 8 rounds. The 2019 FIA European Rally Championship fires up in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean at the Azores Rally, which hosts the opening round for what is set to be another action-packed chase across all of Europe for the European ERC title. This year, ERC drivers will be competing on a mixture of asphalt and gravel events during the 8 rounds of the season, right through until November. But this week we start on the volcanic island. But before we got our teeth stuck into 2019, let's have a look back to see what happened last year. And Alexei Lukyanuk, the Russian rocket, became the first time ERC champion. Second in the championship was Nikolai Gryazin, who finished the year with the ERC Junior Under-28 title. He took advantage of his ERC early years to learn to be the new and very promising young talent. To complete the podium was Bruno Magalhães. The Portuguese put his Skoda Fabia in 3rd position in 2018, and the Opel ADAC Rally Junior team is one more time on top of the podium thanks to the young Latvian driver Martin Seks, who dominated the Under-27 championship last season. Azores Rally is one of the most spectacular events on the international calendar. Stages crisscross beneath breathtaking scenery and are characterised by their surface with very narrow roads, and there is simply no margin to error. The season could be wide open right from the start, with several drivers switching teams over the winter break. Some have to learn new cars as well. Some drivers returning to the ERC. One of those is Matthias Adelson, who last competed here back in 2015.
I was here then the first time, and I thought I would remember the stages, but when I was on the record today, I forget how difficult it was. I always want to win, but sometimes you have to be clever as well. So we were trying to collect a lot of points from here and fighting for the whole championship instead.
Grebo always goes well here, but this time he's switched to the eagerly awaited brand new Volkswagen Polo R5, so he's got that to get used to.
The car is brand new. I just did my first meters with it. I think it will need some time to get a bit more optimistic with the car, so it was not too easy now, but I think the weekend is really long. The rally is quite difficult, so you don't have to start with 100%.
Local hero Bruno Magalhães has won here in the past, but again he has a new Hyundai i20 R5 to get to grips with, but he's certain to be quick on home soil.
I won 3 times here. It's amazing, the landscapes, the people of Azores, organizers, everything, so it's a perfect atmosphere to start the championship, of course.
British driver Chris Ingram has been a class winner here in the past, and this year he's being tipped as a potential championship contender and is eager to get on with the action.
This year I've got my big ambition, well, a lifetime ambition. I want to become the first British European champion in over 50 years. So we've got last year's championship winning engineer Lewis Allen working with me, and he's a young lad like me, so it's been amazing to work with him so far, and he's going to be a real asset to me. I'm just going to, as soon as I get in the car, you know, that's what I love to do, and just bring it on. I can't wait.
However, for anyone else to win on this island, they have to get ahead of the reigning champion. And defending his title, it's Alexei Lukyanuk from Russia, who returns this season. Although he has his own challenges, he's changed teams over the winter break, has a new car for 2019, switching from the Ford to the Citroën R5.
Yeah, we're out of our comfort zone. yeah, new things around. So, but the Azores are the same. The weather is the same, and my co-driver is still the same. He making same mistakes on the wreck, so everything works well.
The Azores Rally is a tough challenge, fought out over 3 days and 15 very special loose gravel stages, but it can be a real car breaker as we head off round the island. Leg number 1 looks like this. But on Wednesday evening, before the rally got underway, the city of Ponta Delgada was on lockdown, as it was time for the usual street city demonstration. Rallying on the cobblestones late at night, to thousands of spectators lining the sides of the road, this beautiful little quiet city, the drivers could just demonstrate their equipment for the first time this season. Nothing was timed, it was purely a showboating experience. Great opportunity to just show off to the crowds and bet those cars in for the season ahead. Late into the night, the next morning though, the real action happened on the qualifying stage. It was our ERC mascot's birthday as well, apparently, so everybody getting involved with the excitement of celebrating Percy's birthday. Apparently he's 1 year old today. The more important things, Pierre-Louis Loubet, fastest in the qualifying stage, was a bit of a surprise for the guy who was driving the Hyundai here last year, switching to the Skoda this year. Fastest in qualifying, choosing to go 15th on the road. Second fastest in qualifying was Alexei Lukanuk. In the new equipment, Lukanuk choosing to go 14th on the road. It was a processional affair for the drivers. The top 15 drivers in the qualifying stage, the fastest choosing to go at the back, and then Chris Ingram 13th on the road. All of the drivers wanting to capitalise on the swept lines of the previous drivers so they could get a good racing line. His first island event in the Azores is Alexandros Soufalos. He was first on the road. The driver's portrait taken at the start of the season, and then it was into the proper action. Thursday, here we go. So after qualifying, it's out then for Thursday afternoon's 3 stages in the Azores, and the season is now ready to get underway. 2 big stages in the countryside and then the super special stage to wrap up the day. First on the road then, car number 9 is Alexandros Souloftis from Cyprus, starting his season furthest west that we go on the championship. Alexandros is from Cyprus, which is the furthest east that we go on the championship. Matthias Adelson is back. Last time he was here was in 2015. That was when he was driving the R2 car, but now he is in an R5 four-wheel drive machine built by Citroën, prepared by Santalock, and didn't get the start that he was hoping for on the opening stage of the event. Ran wide on a corner on stage number 1, costed him about 5 seconds there. Then in stage 2, the car cut out for no reason. Could the engine be developing a problem? We'll find out later. Switching equipment from last year, he was in a Skoda Fabia. This year, he is in the Hyundai i20. 3 times winner of this island event is Bruno Magalhaes, and is learning this new Hyundai right in the first stage, but he was quick in stage number 1. However, things weren't going quite so well with the car, complaining that it felt like the front wanted to do different things than the rear, making it a little hard to drive. Marian Griebel had a tough start, missing the qualifying stage as the Volkswagen team were flying parts out from Germany. So starting way down the leaderboard for Griebel. He's one to watch this weekend. However, he was fired up through stage 1. Impressive third quickest time through the stage, but maybe pushing a little bit too hard in stage number 2. He picked up a puncture, costing him time, but he and the Polo were certainly looking strong. Griebel only had 15 kilometres of testing in this new machinery before the rally got underway. However, sat in the usual seat inside the Skoda Fabia prepared by SRT from Latvia is Poland's Łukasz Habaj. Started well, pushing hard, trying to keep his driving nice and clean. In stage number 2, he was impressive and third overall and confident behind the wheel of the same equipment. It's another Skoda piloted by England's Chris Ingram, with a man on the mission, and despite budget issues, he was out to show what he could do to impress potential sponsors for the future in this ERC season. However, he hit a rock quite early on in stage number 1.
40, slow entry, very tight, 6 right close.
Dented his confidence. Stage 2 went better for him, although he might have opted for the wrong tyre choice, struggling with a softer Michelin compound.
80.
Car moving all over the place. He was still quick though. This is another former winner of this island event, Ricardo Moura, waving the Portuguese flag, setting a fast pace here in the Azores on both of the opening 2 tests. Again, the pace may have been at the sacrifice of the tyres. The tyres were completely destroyed, he said to us, deteriorating at the end of stage number 3. Last year here in the Azores, Pierre-Louis Loubet had his debut on the ERC and he was running in a Hyundai last season, running in a Skoda this year. The Frenchman was quick in qualifying and was 15th on the road and was impressing everybody in the early stages. But slight damage to his wheel didn't seem to hold him up, and he was 2nd overall. Beautiful countryside here on the island of San Miguel in the Atlantic Ocean. Alexei Lukyanuk was starting his title defence for 2019. The Iranian champion was looking strong from the start, again with limited experience inside the new equipment for 2019 season. It was all about finding his way and learning the car without any big risks. However, his time said differently, and he was pushing from the word go. The Russian is the one to beat in the Azores. Ricardo Teodosio from Portugal. Kind of a bit of a local legend, this fella. Runs a chain of fried chicken shops in Portugal on the mainland. One to watch for the weekend, he was up to 4th. Marian Griebel, despite almost no time in the car, was pushing hard and clearly feeling comfortable in the Volkswagen. Like we saw earlier on, his pace was impressive, going on to the 3rd in stage number 3, keeping him in touch with the leaders of the pack. Chris Ingram seemed to have calmed down a little bit as we headed into the final super special stage of the day. He was pushing a bit too hard in the 2 opening big stages, but was more consistent. Getting a bit more confident and trying to play the long game now, and was driving smoother in the last stage of the day.
We're only about 8-9 seconds off, so we've just got to forget about that. The proper stages that I love start tomorrow, so just learn from today, and we're still in it.
Media scrum at the end of the stage, everyone wanting to hear from Chris Ingram. Also everyone wants to hear from Ricardo Moura. The Portuguese driver was having a good start to the rally despite his tyres going off on the last stage of the day. Might have been on the wrong compound from the start. However, his fears seemed to be unfounded, as another strong run in stage 3 kept him in the fight. Heading into day number 2. Pierre-Louis Loubet, the rising French talent, was showing everybody that his early pace was certainly no fluke in the Skoda. In fact, his consistent pace was catching people's attention, and 3 strong stages had shown he was going to be the front runner. This super special stage that we're on here is like slot car racing for the ERC runners and riders. It's a dedicated, specially built stage around the bottom of an actual working quarry. Showing off to the crowd standing on top of the cliff faces is Alexei Lukanuk. And this is the one that everyone's got to beat in this rally. He was settling into his new car very, very well, and again, the Russian driver won stage number 3. So, after day 1, that kept him in the lead of the rally, although Luby was hot on his heels and finishing the day just 3 seconds behind Alexei Lukanuk. But Lukanuk was happy with day number 1.
Now we can take a deep breath and relax a bit, because the car working well. Okay, we still have some problems with the dash, but it's minor worries. So yeah, it's nice to drive, easy to play with, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
So this is what it looks like after 3 stages on the opening round of the season. Our European adventure is well and truly underway, with Lukanuk in front. Day 2 in the Azores is probably arguably the best and most dramatic day of the ERC season. Here the drivers have to face 7 tough gravel stages, including the iconic Sate Sidas stage, the volcano stage, the one that's on every driver's bucket list to do. It was a slow run through stage 4 for Bruno Magalhaes. They made some changes to the car overnight. He opted for older tyres on the rear of the car in the morning. That would cost him time, but hopefully he'll come back later in the day, doing little tyre tactics as he heads round the top of the classic volcano stage. His pace on stage 5 and 6 was worse though, possibly picking up a stone in the wheel. He was really struggling with the tyres. Maybe the tyre gamble was a big mistake, but only time will tell.
You have 2 good news. One is we are here, and another one is we just marked 6 tires until now, so maybe for the rest of the rally we have more options than the other guys, so we'll see.
Another driver whose day didn't start as well as he hoped was Marian Griebel. He overshot a turn on stage number 4, which cost him some valuable time, although after the problems of getting the car running before the rally, the team were just happy that he was still out there. However, on stage 5, the Polo developed a problem and started to cut out occasionally, causing him to lose a bit of time.
You learn with every stage, so it's quite good to have some kilometers in the car now. But yeah, also I don't want to do some stupid mistakes, so it's not easy on this narrow rally to find the right rhythm.
One driver who carried on as he did was Łukasz Habaj. It was another quick and consistent run for the Polish driver, who was keeping his head down and going well all morning. Perfect weather conditions here on top of the volcano for the first pass through the stages. Blue Azorean skies above the island as Chris Ingram headed into the Jurassic Park before the volcano stage at the top, with a mirror finish to the lake below. It's absolutely stunning scenery. Ingram had rebooted himself overnight after a nervous start on day number 1. He was overthinking everything on day 1, but the pace was quick. Had a spin on stage 5. Ripped off his rear bumper of the car, cost him time. The engine didn't restart straight away. Dropped him down to 6th place overall at the end of the stage. The pressure was back on the British driver.
It's so frustrating. Just stressed with everything that's going on. Last year I came here so relaxed, drove so well, and I've just got too much pressure on at the moment, and I'm not driving well.
Taking advantage of stage 4, getting swept clean by the cars ahead of him, it's Ricardo Moro. He had a great run. A fantastic run through the incredible Sate Sida stage, but by stage 6 he was struggling for grip and his tyres were wearing out very fast. However, the car hadn't picked up any major damage in the morning and things were still looking good. And day 1 had been really good for Pierre-Louis Loubet, but day 2 didn't start quite as well. He was hoping to be cautious on the narrow stages, and losing time, Loubet then spun and damaged his car on stage number 5, costing him a bit more time. That allowed Mora to move up to 2nd overall. However, by stage number 6, Loubet had refocused and was quickest and was still in the fight.
I did in the first stage I was too carefully. In the second one I discovered the stage was very difficult, but I had a good rhythm on the split, but I spun, so I lose 20 seconds. But in this one it's a new for everybody, so you know, it's much better, so we will see.
Lukyanuk was driving with confidence on day number 2 and was fastest in stage 4 despite hitting a rock. The new Citroën was starting to look like a tough car. Alexei absolutely loves stage number 5 around the top of the volcano. The unforgiving banks on either side of the stage just bounce you off like a pinball if you go wrong. He was almost making it look easy through the narrow roads.
No, everything okay, but we stalled on this engine on this stage, and I restarted twice, so learning the car.
Another previous winner of this event, Bernardo Sousa, was proving dramatic morning for him. All going a little bit wrong in the volcano stage. Losing control of the car, but getting himself upright the right way round and into gear, and then down to the end of the Sate Sida stage. Despite external damage, the car underneath was working well after this spectacular roll.
I missed a corner turning in, and so the car went a little bit too wide. It was enough. You can manage, hit the right, and then rolled, spin, go back, and full throttle. Let's go.
So after 6 stages, Alexei's out in front by 19.2 seconds over Mora. Łukasz Szabaj is in 3rd position overall. We're on the opening round of the season in the Azores. Coming up next, we've got some more ERC action from the Isle of San Miguel. Join us in a moment as we get into the final few stages here. This is the FIA European Rally Championship, and you're joining us with Bruno Magalhaes on top of the volcano. The afternoon was going better for Bruno. The team had adjusted the car in the 30-minute service halfway through the day, and with a fresh set of tyres meant that Bruno could push hard. He was quicker, but the Hyundai seemed to be struggling, to say the pace was slightly off. The 3-time Azorian winner here was only just hanging on to the top 10 of the leaderboard. Wrapping up the day's action with slot car racing, back at the Super Special.
Of course, you would like to fight for the best places in the overall classification, but for the moment it's not possible. So we need to work a little bit more.
And the afternoon stages started well for Marianne Griebel. He went well in stage number 7, but it was stage 8 that he impressed, going second quickest. Looked like he was starting to catch Lube, but in stage 9, the car developed rear brake issues. And the time that he'd clawed back was suddenly out the window. His advantage was completely wiped out. End of the day, pretty frustrated was Griebel. It was another solid afternoon for Poland's Łukasz Hawaj. His confidence was growing in the Skoda and felt that he could push harder on the narrow roads as they attacked them for a second time. Let's hear what Łukasz has to say at the end of the stage. It's all going well for him.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm a little surprised, but at the same time very happy. Especially that this position is not because of problems of other drivers, but also because of our strong pace, and I think we showed a strong pace. We stayed out of troubles.
After a disappointing morning, Chris Ingram was feeling the pressure. His luck didn't improve either in the afternoon. He picked up a puncture on stage number 7, which was slowing him down. So then he was very cautious on the next group of stages. But there was one bit of good fortune though. Griebel's brake problems had helped Ingram back up to 5th place overall. And he is now over a minute behind the leader. But Chris Ingram isn't giving up.
We've got the pace. We just need a bit of luck, and I just need full concentration, which we're going to have tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to it.
The Portuguese hopes in the rally were now firmly with Ricardo Moura. And again, he was having a strong afternoon. Running on the stages for a second time, he felt happy and wanted to push harder. This is the second pass through the volcano stage, so the road has been swept clean by the previous competitors on the first pass. Bit more grip around then, less loose rocks, so Moura trying to push harder and taking advantage of that. Lube is into the afternoon stages as well. The Frenchman was back on the pace and going to be second quickest on stage number 9. Just a shame that he lost so much time earlier on today, which dropped him down to 4th overall in the standings. However, Pierre-Louis Lube was still impressing everyone with his speed here in Azores and is still in contention for the win. The worrying thing for all the ERC drivers is what Alexei Lukanek can do. And he's getting comfortable with the new Citroën equipment. Last year he won the Azores Rally in the Ford Fiesta. This year in the new Citroën C3. He was feeling happy with the car, and he could see no reason to hold back. He was starting to control the rally from the front. And if anything else was going to beat them, then they were going to have to really up their game. But the Azores can fight back at any corner. Lukanek didn't win this stage. He won 9 out of the 10 stages so far.
So we're really enjoying our driving, enjoying the car. It's all stages but one today, it seems. So small innocent problem in hairpin, but otherwise things work very well.
So Lukanook wraps up leg number 1, 40.1 seconds ahead of Ricardo Mora. Lukas Habaj is in 3rd position, but it's all to change tomorrow. With the beauty of leg number 1 and the Azorean sunshine, the weather forecasters say it's going to be a beast of a day to wrap up the rally on leg number 2. Who will be crowned King of the Azores? Find out in a moment here at the ERC. We're back on the island of São Miguel, and this time, on leg number 2, we're heading to the right-hand side of the island. 3 stages in the morning, back down to service, and then 2 stages in the afternoon. But everyone has pressed Alt-Control-Delete on the weather systems overnight, and from the sunshine of yesterday, it's absolutely pouring down with rain today. Ricardo's first on the road and having an impressive morning here in the Azores, benefiting from going first and opening the road. Allows him to miss the worst of the weather. He went fastest in stage 12 and stage 13, and now is closing the gap to Griebel.
The car today is much better than yesterday. I feel more confident. Now I feel more confident. But anyway, we still have to keep going. We want to finish the rally.
The German driver Marianne Griebel's rally continues to be a challenging one in the new equipment. The eagerly awaited Polo R5 suffers a puncture 7 kilometers from the end of stage 11, causing issues, and then the windscreen wipers fail as well. Griebel very frustrated at the end of the stage.
Clip 50. Maximal crest 100.
Ingram could only manage 5th place on stage number 11 after he hit a rock and was worried he had a puncture, so he eased off towards the end of the stage. The team had gambled on harder tyres, but it might have been too hard for the wet, so he was having to throw the car around to try and keep it the right time.
40.
Chris said the car was also set up too firmly for the conditions and would need adjusting in the service park for the afternoon's run.
So much standing water and we're on the hard tyres, which isn't ideal. We had a few big moments, but yeah, it was all right, we're here.
So with the rain pouring down in the Azores, from the beauty of day 1 to the beast of day 2, Lube was keen to start the day well and was pushing hard. And then during the opening test of the day, in the limited visibility, an alarm went off on the dashboard, which threw his concentration. Lube's car had developed a water pressure problem, so he backed off. Still finished the stage in 4th place. But at the end of the stage, in the awful weather, they were committed to fix the car. A little bit of fan cam footage from the end of the stage of Lube working hard, but then it's terminal.
During the stage we have a lot of alarms, so we were a little bit, deconcentrate. So the time was not bad because at the end we tried to go slowly. But well, to finish like that, it's very bad, you know.
So Lube out of the rally, catapulted everybody else up 1 place, and Habaj was continuing to have a great rally. The morning stages were proving to be difficult, but he was hoping that his Pirelli tyres would be better in the rain than the Michelin's. And in the first stage it looks like it was going the right way. He was fastest in stage 11 by 7 seconds.
I don't think you can imagine how difficult it is. I mean, here
I haven't seen such conditions in my life, so it's really difficult, and we're just focused to, drive to the finish and don't do anything stupid, you know.
Also, Mora was finding the changing grip levels difficult, but Gain kept it clean through stage number 11, although it wasn't quick enough, and that meant that Lukas Habaj had moved ahead of him in the overall positions through the water splash at the bottom of Tronquera. Again on stage 12 and stage 13, Mora was finding it slippery.
I think I have never run stages like this before, and we got a lot of fog also, and the fog is coming and going, and it's really tough. I just wanted to survive, nothing more.
Out in front, and the changing weather meant that it was a steep learning curve for Alexei Lukanuk in the new car with rain tyres. He had limited pre-season testing in the car and hasn't driven in these conditions before. On stage 13 he was struggling. He overshot 2 corners, losing time as he fought in the conditions. See how steamy it is here on the front right of our onboard camera. These spins offering Habaj to close the gap.
We made 2 big mistakes. We went straight on one junction, straight on the other junction, and started stalling the engine. The grip is changing so much, you can't believe it. It's just incredible.
So with small mistakes from Lukanuk, Habaj is nibbling time to Lukanuk. 43 seconds now. Mora behind in third. This is Alexei Lukanuk, and we're heading on the back final few stages of the rally, stage 14 and stage 15 for these. Lukanuk is out on stage 14, but had a puncture at the end of stage 14. Changed that into stage 15, the final of the rally. Game over. The rally leader's off the road.
Not far we traveled. You see some?
Straight off, damaged course to the brake pipe due to the puncture on the previous stage. Front right tyre causing that issue.
Yeah, I saw a small damage on the pipe, on this brake line, but it was done during this stage, and I was braking very hard during this stage, and I tried it also on the road section. So it was okay, but in the first corner it failed. So, but we touched the inside, and then we started rolling, and there's nothing we could do.
So Lukanuk out of the rally leader who won here last year, not going to finish Azores in 2019, which moves everyone else up a position, including Chris Ingram, keeping him in 4th place. Unfortunately, he lost time yesterday, but is pushing. Moves from 4th to 3rd position now, leading in the ERC 1 junior class as well.
Oh, is there another car coming? Oh, there's another car. Chris Ingram is here.
Chris Ingram comes up to the end of the rally after 15 stages in the Azores.
Really happy to be at the end. It's been the most difficult Azores I've ever done. So many mistakes from me. I should have just been more relaxed. I shouldn't have been chasing it. But I'm really happy to be at the end today.
For the Polish driver Lukas Habaj, this has been by far the best rally he has ever had. After Alexei Lukanuk hit trouble on stage 14, he suddenly found himself leading the ERC rally for the first time. He just had to keep pushing on the final stage, stage 15.
He want to wait for Mora.
See if he got enough of a gap with Mora pushing him hard. He crosses the line. He didn't want to celebrate, just waiting to see what time Mora sets.
We just need to see. We just need to wait.
Just pulling out of time control just to wait for Mora to finish, who was 2 minutes behind him on the road. It was just 18 seconds behind him at the start of the stage, and there was a little chance that he could beat Rallye. But Mora pushing hard on the final stage. Who was going to win Azores?
Lomba comprida lá em mais 30, direita 4 estreito, atenção à travagem, estreito, 50, esquerda 4, não abre mesmo, outra ali não abre mesmo, 20, esquerda 2.
With probably the worst conditions we've seen in the Azores rally for a long time, the rain pouring at the stop line, Mora completes.
It was quite difficult, it was very tough to attack. I didn't came, I just wanted to keep it safe on the finish.
With that defeat by Mora, Rallye wins his first ERC rally and wins the opening round of the season.
I can't believe it. It was crazy, but the fact is that we had a good pace over the whole weekend. I think the key was yesterday, and I was afraid of yesterday's stages the most. Sorry for Alexei, because of course he was the fastest over the whole weekend, but you know, this is really great opening of the season for us.
Rallye, top step of the podium by 8.4 seconds over Ricardo Mora. Chris Ingram is our ERC1 junior winner as well, taking third position overall. What a weekend in the Azores it has been. What an opening round to the ERC for 2019. Back down to Ponta Delgada. Rallye wins his first ERC rally. Rallye out in front with 35 points here. Ricardo Mora on 28, Chris Ingram with a comfortable set of 21 points as we wrap up the opening round of the season. Round 1 completed in the Azores. And that sweet taste of success for the SRT team. Cars prepped in Latvia, got a Polish driver. Let's see what happens next. We wrap up the Azores. Next up, we move on to the sealed surface in the Canary Islands. Our second island rally of the season kicks off next at the start of May. Join us as we head to Las Palmas for round 2 of 8 in 2019. From all of us at the programme on the ERC, we'll see you in a few weeks.